original Rhapsody. This is why Kamala will not win. This is why Kamala will not. Jesus, he got for you, he loves you, you know it's true, it's good news, good news, good news, good news. Tell me why they trying to take Capitol Hill, tell me why they trying to process the Green New Deal, tell me why the media keep promoting the bill, tell me why they cancel you if you're scared to be clear, they just want you to stare, they just want you to scare, they dip to the mob now, I ain't running. Wow. I don't know what just happened, but let's go back. Running with no mind to the truth that here. Load it up with a view, you can like and share. You drawing near, you best beware. They look in the room, your mind, they don't match theirs. So cast your cares up on the one that cares. Just believe he'll deliver you from all the care. Run around marching with marching. You ought to stop it, cause they don't really watching you. Black lives matter when it's on the news. All lives matter, it's the only true. We on a change. You can't change, cause you watch the fake news. Fake news, fake news. Jesus, he got for you, he loves you, you know it's true. It's good news, good news, good news, good news. 4 million jobs is his first election. Moving the country in the right direction. Taking stimulus checks and pay your bills. The spirit of division in this run is really real. In 1861, I chose a man to appeal. Abraham Lincoln, yeah, but he took the deal. The Democrats, they had a great frustration. They desired to divide the nation. March Emancipation Proclamation was a living truth. Justice for Abe against John Root. Let me tell you about Columbus. He had a young freedom slaves, and that's not all that happened. They're freemen, properly put away. Then the Democrats always getting in the way. I fight for the babies, I stand for the kids. Abortion is wrong. They deserve to live. We on the Trump train, every day. You can't hang, cause you watching fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. Jesus, he loves you, he loves you, he loves you. It's good news, good news, good news, good news. Hey, Democrat, take it right back. I got better side, so look it back. Matter of fact, y'all fiction, everything y'all pass is coming against Christians. First off, y'all say them man racist. I have a proof and I received no case. Nobody talk about black, Spanish, and Indians. That's really sad that you see that on CNN. How can people really be this man? Y'all talk about Trump and y'all say he's trash. Quick question, have you ever looked into your own past? People don't know we're fighting against him. It ain't even Jesus Christ, you are the man on the Trump train. Now you can't hang, cause you watch fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. We on the Trump train. We on the Trump train. TCODR FWC messengers. Our government.
Hey everyone, so take a listen to this Kamala clip and come right back.
Now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
So in this clip, Kamala is decrying the idea of a mass deportation plan. And for many people, the idea of mass deportation sounds callous and unfeeling, and may appear to be not representative of the generosity of Americans. Now, from my perspective, America is the most generous country by far. So to get people to the point where they are okay with mass deportation means something has fallen through the cracks. And the thing that has fallen through the cracks is the consent of the people. I remember when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005. Many people were displaced. And I remember Americans opening their homes, especially in Texas, to strangers who had been displaced by the hurricane in Louisiana. Many people opened their homes because of their own generosity, not because the government ordered them to. And every time there's a natural disaster in America or anywhere in the world, Americans rally together and show their generosity. So to get Americans to the point where they're open to mass deportation, that tells you that the government did not seek the consent of the people in allowing the mass influx of immigrants, illegal immigrants in many cases. Imagine waking up in your town and seeing that the government overnight has dropped thousands of people onto your streets without any care on the pressure that puts on the infrastructure of the city. Imagine waking up and finding your community centers, your hotels, your schools overrun with migrants without your consent. This is how you manufacture hate. This is how you manufacture racism. This is how you manufacture bigotry. Because most people will not be okay with waking up in the morning and finding their home filled with strangers, placed there without their consent. So the question is, if the government and the Democrats who have allowed this understand that by doing this, by bringing in thousands of migrants without the consent of the people, they will engender dissatisfaction. Why are they doing it? Unless it is their plan to sow chaos. And then they turn around and accuse the people who have been displaced of being xenophobic. Americans are generous, but the generosity of Americans has never been due to government diktat or coercion. It has always been voluntary and genuine. The fastest way to create hate, the fastest way to turn people against their fellow man, is to force them into a corner. And over the last 3.5 years, Kamala Harris, the border czar, has forced Americans into a corner. And come November 5th, it is my hope that Americans pay her back by helping her pack her bags out of the White House, send her back home to California, so she can reap the consequences of the policy she has imposed on the rest of us.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Truck train, you can't hang, 'cause you watch your fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. Jesus, he died for you, he loves you, you know it's true. He's good news, good news, good news, good news. Tell me why they trying to take Capitol Hill. Tell me why they trying to process the Green New Deal. Tell me why the media keep promoting the bill. Tell me why they cancel you if you scared to be real. They just want you to stare. They just want you to scare. They did to the mob, now you become theirs. I ain't running with no mobs to the truth that here. Load it up with a view, you can like and share. You draw in there, you best beware. They look in the room, your mind if it don't match theirs. So catch the cares up on the one that cares. Just believe he'll deliver you from all the scares. Run around marching with Marxism. You ought to stop it because they don't really want you. Black lives matter when it's on the news. All lives matter, it's the only true. Real Truck train, you can't hang, because you watch the fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. Jesus, he died for you, he loves you, you know it's true. He's good news, good news, good news, good.
And they don't.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American. Let me give you some examples of McDonald's French fries. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies. In the last 60 years, almost all food additives were being created for one sole purpose: to improve the bottom line of the food industry and not improve our health. These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature. I ended up quitting my lifelong career as a corporate management consultant to investigate and write about food full time. During my investigations, I found an alarming discovery. We use over 10,000 food additives here in the United States, and in Europe, there's only 400 approved. We were able to get Subway to remove azodicarbonamide from their bread in the United States after another successful petition. And as a bonus, there was a ripple effect, and almost every bread manufacturer in America followed suit. I want to make an important point here. Ordinary people who rallied for safer food, shared this information, and signed petitions were able to make these changes. We did this on our own. But isn't this something that the people in Washington, our elected politicians, should be doing? We deserve the same safer ingredients other countries get. We cannot allow our own American companies to treat us this way anymore. We've had enough. It's unethical, and it needs to stop.
And they don't want any attention brought to me. So, for example, as I've revealed before, I bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million I caused Hillary Clinton to be offered and take a bribe in mid-July of 2016 by the FBI. The FBI had me facilitate a bribe for Hillary Clinton, which I accomplished. They also told me she had already taken one bribe for $20 million. I got an $18 million bribe in her face, and she took it. And I've been shown the bank records that show that she took it. So they don't want any attention being brought to me. That's probably why they omitted my name when they leaked the story. I'll tell you a bombshell.
Why they did not, I know what's in the Durham report, and I'm going to say it here. I bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million. I facilitated a bribe for Hillary Clinton on January 14th, 2016, right here in this town. On behalf of the FBI, they came to me around December 1st, 2015. They told me Hillary Clinton had accepted a bribe from Turkey for $20 million. They told me that I would be working for a group in New York, FBI agents, who had authorization to set Hillary Clinton up in a sting. They asked me to facilitate a bribe for her, an $18 million bribe from another government. The bag man from that other government I was to befriend, and I was to get that person 10 minutes alone in a room with Hillary Clinton. I did. On January 14th, 2016, Hillary Clinton was in this town, and she met in a way that was kept off her schedule. She accepted an $18 million bribe. But General Barr knows this. This is the Durham. They know this was what is behind it all. And I'll even tell you, I'm going to drop one more thing. I've been waiting to say this publicly, and this is what really happened. I will tell you, if you hear this and you give me 90 seconds, your viewers. viewers will understand what's happened in the last 5 years in America. I've been waiting to say this on mainstream TV, and they will not have me back because once they understood what this was about. I had Hillary Clinton. I caused Hillary Clinton. I facilitated a bribe, and she took a second bribe for $18 million. And I worked with the FBI as I did that. They're deeply involved in this. They came to me 3 days later and told me I had to forget about it and forget that it ever happened. And I said, what are you talking about? And they gave me one excuse. They said, Hillary's going to win, and it's been decided upstairs. Nothing's going to be able to stop that now. So she's going to win, and she's going to send her people over to the FBI and ask who was part of investigating Hillary, and any of us who were part of it are going to be destroyed, and that includes you too, Patrick. And so this mission has been scrubbed from the highest level. And I thought about that, and I said, yes, sir. And I came, but 2 or 3 weeks later, I was back with 3 federal agents this time. 3 federal agents. And I let them know that wasn't sitting, and this is in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that wasn't sitting well with me. And I'd like to know why. We had almost a year before the election. They could have had me and another person in front of a grand jury in a week and gotten her indicted. And they told me, and this is the key to understanding what's happened in America. They told me, this is word for word, Patrick, what's really going on is this. President Obama has his people across the federal bureaucracy at this point, but especially the Department of Justice. Hillary Clinton is going to be president for 8 years, and nothing's going to change that. But think of there being a Bunsen burner within the Department of Justice. That evidence about the 2 bribes you were part of gathering is going to be sitting on the Bunsen burner. And the hand on the Bunsen burner is going to be one of Barack Obama's people. If Hillary's a good girl and defends Obamacare, that flame stays low. If she's a bad girl and thinks for herself, it's going to get turned up high. That way, Barack Obama is going to manage Hillary Clinton for the 8 years she's president. Then she's going to step down, and Michelle's going to run. And Patrick, that's the plan. That came out of the lips of a federal agent. It was confirmed to me this spring. The Durham investigation that plan was called the Operation Snow Globe. That was Brendan Obama's name for it. They were trying to get Hillary to step into a snow globe. I'm looking for a prop. A snow globe that anytime they wanted, they could then pick up and shake for 8 years. My bribe was the bait to get her to step into the snow globe. That's all from it. This isn't a theory. I'm the guy in the room. I'm acknowledging I took part in all this, and I thought I was helping them conduct federal law enforcement. It turned out that I was helping them set up Hillary Clinton for a deep state to control her. And that's why, and I came in public a year ago with some pictures that showed me with this Russian redhead, Maria Butina, lovely woman, that said, and so I'm saying this entire thing, this last 5 years, has been a coup. It was from Obama against Hillary, that when Trump won in a fluke, it got morphed into the Russian collusion delusion. And I say that as the guy that had romancing Maria and bribing Hillary Clinton. So I'm about as involved in this as you can get, and I promise you that's exactly what happened. And what we're seeing here is the last act play out. I was the last act play out. And the reason I mentioned that I knew in October 2018 that this was going to happen was because in 2018 I was offered, a federal agent came to tell me, Patrick, you need to understand there are billionaires walking around this world that we made, and we're prepared to do the same for you. You just have to stay calm. You just have to stay quiet through the election. And by that election, I knew he meant 2020 election. So I've known that they were going to hijack this election since October of 2018.
Does the Federal Bureau of Investigation and other departments need to be completely detonated, dismantled?
Well, I think what you need to do is, there was a guy, the CEO of, I forget if it was Allstate or State Farm, decades ago. It was based in, which one of those is based in Chicago? Do you know?
State Farm of Chicago.
State Farm then. They had a big headquarters filled with 10,000 people, bureaucracy. And the CEO bought a cornfield a couple 100 miles away, and he built a building for 500 people, and he started moving people to it, and until he got a new mini headquarters, and then he just shut off the original one. That's, sometimes bureaucracies get so big and so bad, that's the only way to fix them. The way to fix them is to hit them in the head. It's to start again and build an alternative, and then just shoot them in the head, that the bureaucracy in the head. And I think that's the only way that's going to be to fix our FBI, our beloved FBI. I have such respect. I grew up with this, revering the FBI, and I still revere, the men and women in it up to the mid-level. And there are people beyond that who are good. You can't throw the baby out with the bath water, but they.
Listen, look what this is.
Hey, everyone, so
Como salvadoreños reconocemos estos síntomas de la decadencia cuando los vemos, porque hemos pasado por todos ellos. Vivimos las etapas de la caída de nuestra nación una por una. Y estamos viendo esas mismas etapas una vez más, pero esta vez a escala global. No podemos ni deseamos decirles a otros países lo que tienen que hacer. Cada país debe tomar sus propias decisiones y hacer lo que sea mejor para su gente. Solo podemos ofrecer una palabra de advertencia de un amigo que ha pasado por una época oscura y ha librado la batalla de su vida para salir de ella. No podemos cambiar el curso del mundo. El Salvador es un país demasiado pequeño. Somos de hecho el país más pequeño de todo el continente americano. Esto es mucho más grande que nosotros y de hecho es más grande que cualquier nación. No podemos prevenir los tiempos oscuros que se avecinan, pero lo que sí podemos hacer es convertirnos en un pequeño refugio ante la tormenta que se aproxima y mantener la esperanza. En El Salvador no encarcelamos a nuestra oposición, no censuramos opiniones, no confiscamos bienes de quienes piensan diferente. No arrestamos a las personas por expresar sus ideas. En El Salvador, tu libertad de expresión, así como tu propiedad privada, siempre estarán protegidas. En El Salvador priorizamos la seguridad de nuestros ciudadanos honestos sobre la comodidad de los criminales. Algunos dicen de que hemos encarcelado miles, pero la realidad es que hemos liberado a millones. Ahora son los buenos los que viven libres, sin miedo, con sus libertades y derechos humanos totalmente respetados.
Hey everyone, so take a listen to this Kamala clip and come right back. That Americans.
And they don't want any attention brought to me. So
Spend 45 minutes with it.
Speak Chinese. I've lived in Maoist thing. This last 5 years has been a coup. It was from Obama against Hillary, that when Trump won in a fluke, it got morphed into the Russian collusion delusion. And I say that as the guy that had romancing Maria and bribing Hillary Clinton. So I'm about as involved in this as you can get, and I promise you that's exactly what happened. And what we're seeing here is the last act play out. I was the last act play out. And the reason I mentioned that I knew in October 2018